Hi Luke, thank you so much for joining us. Very excited to be working with you guys at Flowstate and to have you joining me today for this interview. So welcome.
Great, thanks, Jody, and yeah, myself and the team at Flowstate are, really, it's been great working with Tractor so far, and excited to talk a little bit more about it today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Well, I'd love to just kick off with asking a bit more about you and your journey so far. So, whatever you want to tell us, I'd love to sort of hear about how you came to be, I guess, at Flowstate, and then tell us about Flowstate and what you're trying to do there.
Yeah, so look, we started with one of those sort of scenarios of, there was a problem that was frustrating us, and we went about solving it ourselves. And that happened to be that, myself and my co-founders were living in Melbourne, we're working in the tech scene, and we were lucky enough to have one of the first wave pools in the world open up at Urban Surf Melbourne, and going there on a regular basis. And then sort of just identifying that this could be an opportunity that we wanted to see ourselves surf. And there wasn't any sort of, videography service. What there was, you could hire someone, but, a few $100s for an hour is kind of an expensive sort of way to go about it. And so we could see that, well, what we started to do was set up cameras and just film ourselves and then go and manually try and chop that up and turn that into clips. And what we did there was, kind of joke that I could have started a dating app because I would get out of the surf and I'd have my camera there and we would have filmed for an hour. And I'd have a lineup of guys standing there giving me their phone numbers. And
Well, you
so
should be dating.
you could see the demand there. People wanted the video. And yeah, long story short, it was like, well, this is really painful manually editing what we're doing. We could automate this. So let's go about trying to work out how we could sort of, design a solution to do this. And this was probably 3, 4 years ago now. It was early-ish days in the AI space, and the type of technology that we use in AI computer vision was very new. But all of a sudden, just the ability to use this technology, we could do things that just hadn't been done before, and do it in a way that was very operationally efficient for operators, and a great end result for our customer. So to sort of tie back to what we actually do here at Flowstate, we're a AI video platform that completely automates filming of surfing and action sports athletes. And our platform, we take that video, you're able to put a camera up or surf at one of our commercial venues. And for example, wave pools where we've established ourselves. You go surfing. Hey, you're surfing in a wave pool in a weird and wonderful location, whether that's in Abu Dhabi or Scotland in a rock quarry or the desert in Arizona or Palm Springs. If you went and did this amazing activity and all of a sudden someone says to you, I've got every single wave of yours on video footage, which realistically for the average surfer, they've never seen themselves surf before, or not more than one or a few clips. So, being able to bring pro level tools to the everyday surfer was a problem, and that we felt like we could fix. And then what we've done is taken this video footage. And really build out this whole platform for surfers, for action sport athletes, to be able to progress their own skills. So we've launched in the platform a whole coaching and self-progression element, and that's where we sort of take that little bit of inspiration and reference to the Strava of surf, whereby you can set goals, you can measure those goals, and our AI models automate that measurement and how many waves you've caught, how long you've been riding for waves, how many turns you've done, what turns you've done. So that those stats and the metrics are all being automated and adding up. And again, you're able to sort of set goals and measure your progression. And this platform is all-in-one solution. It's coaching, competitions, data and analytics. And then we position that for sort of a number of different types of users. First and foremost is the athlete. Surfers, we're about to branch out into the broader surf market, the action sports market of snow, skateboarding, and other action sports. So the athletes themselves, We have a B2B and commercial product, and that's where we've been operating in wave pools, now about to expand into snow resorts and other sort of commercial areas. And then sporting organisations, people who are running competitions. Here in Australia, we have got a really great, strong board riders culture, and then competitions that run from this grassroots sporting organisations through to the professional ranks of, say, the Surfing Australia, the WSL, of which we've been testing out this new competitions product from grassroots to pro level tools and packaging that all up in a product that's available for both professional athletes through to the everyday athlete. And we're really excited to bring that all together.
Yeah, brilliant. I can totally see like how for athletes and when you get excited about a sport, like you really want to geek out on all the metrics and see your performance and that sort of thing. So were you a professional surfer or this was
I grew up in the competitive scene and competed on the Pro Junior Series and went to the Institute of Sport and did all those sort of training programs. And yes, I was there, but sort of didn't quite crack into that top level. And hence I sort of have taken that influence of sort of being in around that and went off and did other sort of things in my professional career, which sort of is that sort of full circle moment to bring that back now and sort of draw on those early day inspirations, and then have gone off to work in the tech sector, and it's been a great match.
Yeah, beautiful fusion. That's awesome. Thanks, Luke. That's awesome. I love what you're doing. It's so fun and great to be blending, mix of passions that you have. So it's great. Can I ask you about how you think about funding? You've been going for a while now, and I'd love just to hear the journey from a funding perspective, like how you got it started and how you feel about funding now, what funding you've used and what's the future.
Yeah, so we've been on quite the journey. We've been a company now for 3 years, plus, the year or so it was just a good idea rattling around the back of my head. And so we did a seed round and closed that out about a year ago. And that in itself was, it was pretty challenging, to be honest. Trying to pitch a AI computer vision startup specifically for wave pools. Uh, is a pretty niche area. However, a lot of the things I'd read and been influenced by was own a niche, start in that niche, own that niche, and you can be the best of that, and then go and expand it. And that was very much the attitude that we've taken to that approach. But it took us, when you're trying to pitch that to investors. And then you spend half of the meeting explaining to them what a wave pool is. Let's just say like many startup founders, we've had our fair shares of thanks but no thanks. Come back and see us when you've got some unicorns,
Surfing in there, yeah.
But what we learned through that process was the type of investor, an investment group that we wanted to try and work with, and we wanted to try and approach. And quite frankly, we were just never going to be that VC type of company. That first thing is, are you going to be the billion-dollar unicorn? It's like, well, not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Having said that, now with some of our goals and aspirations, we're starting to see a B behind some of our figures and not just the M. So,
Yeah, great.
but yeah, that first element of fundraising was quite a journey. We learned a lot. What we ultimately came to was that the VC model was not going to be for us early. We're just too early. We're too niche. Same with private equity, and it was going to be the angel investor who's going to be involved with us, and that's where we got our start. And thankfully found some great people who have been quite successful in their business careers, and now in that stage of life where they're doing a little bit of investing in startups. And then the sort of the friends and family pool, friends, family, and fools, I think they call it.
Yeah. Do they
And
happen to be surfers, these investors?
Look, most people, yes, have a link to surfing.
Yeah.
At some stage in their life, they've been a surfer, and then they just got it straight away.
Yeah.
And it was pretty night and day between those sort of people. And if
Yes.
there's that old saying and the Billabong slogan, only a surfer knows the feeling. Uh, and it really rings
Yeah.
true.
Mm,
Look, that took us quite a while. It was probably at least a full year
yep.
of trying to raise that seed round, and of which, we got there in the end. And it sort of at one stage, we were pre-revenue, pre-revenue. That was really hard, but things obviously changed once you got that first customer, got a little bit of cash flow, had some runs on the board, and that interest was starting to come in from other operators. And look, what we did was we went and executed on that strategy. We raised about $1.2 million, and we went and executed on that strategy. And it was, as many people know, just getting that first customer is so hard.
Mm,
And once that's happened, what we were able to do, we went from one in year one to 10, 11 in year two. And that's sort of like the modeling now that we're using for our future projections. Is like once we have a proven use case and that first customer, like we can easily add 10 a year. And if we continue to do that now in snow and the attractions industry, and quite frankly, any industry that we sort of choose to go into, if we keep repeating that model and frankly even more aggressive than the 10 a year, then we've got a pretty bright outlook.
yeah.
And that got us to the point where, like I said, we went and executed on the strategy. We obviously spent all that seed round. We've got good cash flow. And that's the great thing and probably about our business and our business model. It generates daily cash flow. There are people doing these activities every single day. Through our business model, we're essentially, getting that cash in our bank every single day, which
Yep. Brilliant.
which is great. And then, that sort of brought us to sort of where we are sort of earlier in the year, where we've had this big goal to also go into consumer. To date, we'd been a B2B tool, partnering with the commercial wave pools. But what we sort of felt and was that this AI computer vision is like our superpower. Let us focus on this one really key element, and let's go and then duplicate that across different industries and verticals. And one of them being a consumer product, which is what we're just about to launch, and what sort of has brought us to Tractor is that we're launching a mobile app that allows you to put your iPhone onto a tripod or mount that. And when you go surfing at the beach or skating at the skate park or at the bottom of the mountain in the snow, you can frame up the area of region where you're going to be doing that, press record, and our AI models are going to track you, follow you, identify you so that you can come in from that session and every run, every wave has been filmed, edited, and ready for you, minutes after that session. And which, again, we play on this fact that most, sports athletes haven't really seen themselves doing what they're doing. They may have the handy sort of, action sports camera, but that POV angle is a little bit different from actually seeing yourself doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Plus
And
layer with all the stats and everything. Yeah.
yes, and all the stats. And look, quite frankly, we got to the point where it's like, hey, we've built all this great product. We don't really have enough marketing. we, we really need a significant marketing. We need to bring in, someone to run marketing. We need a marketing budget. We need to do activations. And in parallel to that, probably one of my hardest problems is just having to say no to all the opportunities that come our
Yes.
way on a regular basis. People go to the wave pools, they contact us and say, "Hey, that was amazing experience. Can you do what you're doing over for this activity that I run in my business over here?" So we are getting really regular inquiries from all sorts of different sports and activities, and it's having to say no to a lot of them. But one industry and area that we did quite like was the attractions industry. Fun parks, theme parks, amusement parks, adventure activities, roller coasters, big water slides, climbing things like bridges, football stadiums. And quite often these things are, you can't take a phone or a camera on there. you can't get a good image of yourself, and you're screaming your head off, or you're looking at the most picturesque thing you've ever seen. And the day and age that we live in, if you did that thing and you didn't have video or a photo of you doing
What
it, did it
kind of
really
even
matter?
doing it? Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of this, what we've seen in the industry, is still quite, I'd say, outdated. People standing there taking photos, or a timer with a camera, and us being able to introduce this computer vision technology whereby people can do these activities but have a full video montage of themselves doing that. And we train our AI models to recognize things like facial expressions, so that when you're screaming your face off and pulling that weird awkward face that's going to make everyone laugh, that
Yeah.
we can capture that moment. And so that opportunities, we've had a lot of opportunities there in that attractions industry, and thought we like this one.
Yeah.
And again, we just needed that little bit of seed funding to help us go and actually do it.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of back end infrastructure that we can leverage, so we're kind of halfway there. But we just needed a little bit more investment with both building the product. We put a lot of cameras up in places, so there's an investment in the hardware that goes into launching these places, and that's why we've sort of didn't want to go out there and do a full round, because it felt like, hey, if we did what we just did in wave pools and land that first one, go add 10 a year after that, this is going to be a big business. We're going to go into well into the hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. So, but to go from, 3 million revenue to all of a sudden 300 in a very short space of time, look, we wanted to show a bit of traction, to say that, hey, not only have we done it once, but now we've done it 3 times. Okay, we've got that first attractions customer, we've got subscribers to our mobile consumer product. Here's a limited sort of sample size that we've gone out and marketed to. We now have some runs on the board. We've got that traction, and now we're going to go do a big raise early next year and really scale this out at a global level. And yeah, that's really excited about that at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's so great. So is it fair to say you just knew that the use of funds right now was not really suitable to an equity raise because it's really just buying your customers, right? Buying revenue.
Yeah, there's always that, the trade-off between dilution and not diluting yourselves. And we feel like we're going to be able to achieve a fairly significant, ultimately evaluation pretty soon, in order to really support that story. We felt like debt would be, we needed that injection of funds, and we felt like debt was a good option, so we didn't have to dilute ourselves right now.
Yeah,
And I felt like, hey, if we can just, you give us X amount of cash, we can turn it X, Y, and Z.
yeah,
If it's a bit more, we'll double it again. And that was, I think working with Tractor was, we went and spoke to a lot of different types of lenders, from traditional banks to business lenders to brokers, and being high growth, essentially loss making startup. No one really wants to come and touch you unless everyone's putting down the mortgage of their house
yeah,
as security. And well, hey, wouldn't be the first time I've mortgaged my house to support this business. So I'm not overly worried about it, but it was like, we're going back and forth for 3 weeks with an application process. We met with Tractor, and in 3 days we've been approved for like a nice amount of funding. And I was like, wow, these guys are great to work with.
yeah, amazing. Oh, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Can I ask you, a lot of our listeners are really keen to hear from successful entrepreneurs like yourself about how you think about leadership and management, and I guess how it works for you at Flowstate. I liked in your language so far, you've talked a lot about we and us, and obviously you've got a great team, and that's very central to you personally, it would seem. So I'd love to hear from you, like what works for you as a manager and a leader.
Yeah, look, it's a great question. And myself and my co-founders, look, we've most recently been working in big tech companies, and have been at them for, actually a lot of us spent almost, anything from 6 to 10 years in that company, where they've gone from a just past that startup phase into sort of Series A, Series B, Series C, multi-billion dollar companies, and have sort of seen that growth, and those earlier days of the fast and the furious, and then they sort of grow into this more mature company where extra layers of management and systems and processes are all start slowing everyone down. And so look, we're still early stage, and we look, it is the fast and the furious in startup land. And we do one thing one week and we might have great ideas about something the week after, and come in and go, right, we're doing a little bit something different this week. But I think, the key thing is, like, as you said, I have talked about the we, and myself and my three co-founders, Ben, Mike, and Chris, and our team. We're at like 13 full-timers now. We like to think we've done a very good job with hiring and bringing in great people. Again, it's really heartwarming that we get a lot of people who are first and foremost users of our product, and that's what brings them to us. But I think a big thing of why, actually, I was speaking to one of our team members at the Christmas party, and we were talking about how how excited she was that she'd actually created something. She actually built something. And we think we give our team a lot of autonomy. We've got great leadership. Again, my co-founders have been working in the big tech companies for quite a significant period of time. And, they've got that, those leadership capabilities, but also giving people that autonomy to go, right, here's what we want to try and achieve. I'm not going to micromanage you and sit over your shoulder all day. Go build it. Ask me as many questions as you need to, and giving people, a sense of ownership. And yeah, one of my team members said to me at the Christmas party that, we brought on, one of our more junior team members to pair up with the senior members. She was sort of just finished out of uni. Her friends wanted to go to big name tech companies, and she's gone to the scrappy startup. And she's, a year later, her friends have not really done anything. They've been given menial tasks and working on spreadsheets and things like this. She goes, I've built an entire product.
Wow. Yeah.
And that sense of ownership, and what she had accomplished, I think that really sort of summed up, sort of actually, many of our team members who are, have helped us accelerate so hard and fast over these past 3 years, is because, yeah, we've got, great leadership, but we give people that autonomy to go build things. And, people get that buzz of actually seeing their work come to life. Actually, another team member said, I've worked on so many projects that got them so bogged down in layers of approval, and the amount of things that I've built that never saw the light of day, I found really frustrating.
Yeah.
Here, I've built this, and that, and I can see people using it. I see the feedback coming through it. I'm using it myself, and we're loving it. It's like, that is like, that's what's getting me out of bed every day to go and work hard and do these great things.
Yeah, I can imagine. It sounds like you celebrate it too, which is important.
We try, we try. We're a remote company, so there's a lot of online time. Having said that, most of us are based out of Melbourne. We get together for our weekly surf at Urban Surf,
Oh, cool.
and get to be our own, user testing, constant user
Yeah. That's
being your own
awesome.
customer, which is,
Yeah,
again, it's we do have those pinch me moments that, hey, we're all going surfing and this is work.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's that's great. Love that. And what a good way to finish our chat. I know you're going to go, Luke. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It was awesome.